News.
Troops patrol and citizens start to rebuild in the anguished aftermath of the Los Angeles riots. And the heroes who saved the life of a trucker tell their stories.
He looked so bad. It was something that anybody would want to help.
This is the CBS Evening News. And this is Bob Schieffer reporting. Good evening. Armed soldiers are patrolling the streets, but relative calm returned to Los Angeles today as the residents of the burned and looted areas began the huge job of cleaning up after 3 days of turmoil and looting that shocked the city and stunned the nation. At last count, 44 people known dead, nearly 2,000 reported hurt. About 200 of those critically. More than 6,700 people have been arrested, and property damage is now estimated more than $500 million. Bill Lagatuda of our Los Angeles bureau is covering the story. He's standing by now with today's developments. Bill?
Bob, there was very little violence on the streets here overnight. The looting has stopped and there have been no new fires. L.A. got its first good night's sleep, but woke up with a hangover.
An immigrant family, homeless and stunned.
Everything is down here. Everything is gone, you know.
A beauty shop owner, unsure of the future.
Yes, they took everything. They took everything we had. My house.
On this first day of peace, L.A. is a city of tears. Today, volunteers started the repair work. The damage is staggering. In the 2 nights of fighting and fire, 10,000 businesses were looted or destroyed. In parts of the city where it is tough enough to attract investment and jobs, how many will dare rebuild was the question today.
All right, let's go.
Overnight, more National Guardsmen took up positions alongside local police who no longer remain on the sidelines. The show of force and the citywide curfew emptied the streets, and arrests were way down.
Curfew violation?
Yes. It was a calm, but a nervous calm.
You guys have any trouble out here?
No, there ain't gonna be no trouble here.
No trouble here.
Only for emergency.
But that's
Gun control advocates would have shuddered as the city armed itself, especially Korean businessmen who were tired of being looted. This afternoon, what started out as a rally in the Korean community grew into a huge march for peace, 100,000 people. Other scenes from around the city today: long lines at a supermarket in South Central LA, one of the few which wasn't gutted. A handful of arrests at an anti-police rally, but not much trouble.
All LA County beaches are closed.
No one at LA's favorite weekend getaway spot, which would be packed on any normal Saturday. And the Army and Marine troops sent here by President Bush, they are still at a local military base awaiting orders. Mostly here, it has been a day to take an assessment of the enormous destruction. A day in which many woke up, looked around, and must have said, "My God, what have we done?"
A decision has yet to be made on whether or not to call in those federal troops, the soldiers who are standing by. The feeling here is if this uneasy truce holds, they may not be needed. Later tonight, the mayor of Los Angeles, Tom Bradley, will hold a news conference at which time he is expected to announce that he has appointed Peter Uberoth, the former baseball commissioner, the former head of the Los Angeles Olympics in 1984, and a popular political figure here, to head up a reconstruction committee, a committee of citizens and businessmen to supervise the rebuilding of some of the most shattered parts of this community. Bob?
Thank you, Bill. As huge as the job is, the hundreds of millions of dollars in damage in the riot areas will eventually be repaired. It is picking up the pieces of shattered lives that may prove more difficult for many in Los Angeles, and Ron Allen has more on that part of the story.
It's been a horrible 3 days.
That looks like a war zone around here.
They don't realize what they've done to the community.
Ain't that a shame?
A broom brigade. Outraged citizens armed with household weapons clean up the war-torn streets. Hundreds and hundreds of them, block by burned-out block. Many don't call this place home, but their hearts reside here.
Nobody wants the violence. Nobody wants the racism. Nobody wants the hatred. Everybody's got to get out here, overcome their fears, Believe in human beings, not in color.
I got my son out here with me to hopefully teach him to respect other people's property.
A little bit surprised that they are here because it is kind of dangerous. But it just goes to show you that people are here to help.
Things people need, depend on, rely on, don't exist anymore. Homes, stores, banks, gas stations, some of life's most basic requirements are reduced to rubble.
Ain't that a shame?
And people going to starve. Some people is going to starve because they don't know how to survive.
The market I bought her milk for, it's not there.
We have to go 10, 20 miles out the way to try to find what we need, you know. And that's pretty bad, pretty bad.
Thank you.
Relief is beginning to pour in, with churches becoming emergency food banks.
We didn't have no lights last night. I couldn't fix dinner, right? So I fixed dinner by a flashlight last night.
Power is still out because workers still fear the mobs. So police are escorting utility crews to the most dangerous areas.
They are armed with 9mm.
But the escorts have reason for fear too.
And they have brought 9,000 rounds of ammo. Their main mission is to commit a 187 on any peace officer. Information for all.
187 means murder a police officer.
A lot of intelligence information that gang members are coming into the area.
First the rioters, now everyone else is taking matters into their own hands.
I wish we could be like this all the time other than just in times of crisis.
And still left to clean up are the underlying social and economic problems that cause this huge mess. Ron Allen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Maxine Waters, the congresswoman for the area where much of the rioting took place, got a first-hand look at some of the worst damage today as she walked through the area with her constituents. The congresswoman's own district office was among the estimated 10,000 offices and businesses damaged or destroyed. Congresswoman Waters has taken time from a very busy day to join us from California. Ms. Waters, may I ask you first to just update us on the situation? How does the community look tonight?
Well, you know the devastation and the destruction that has taken place, and that is a fact of life. But there is a calm out there, and people are coming together. People are coming in from other communities who've never been in South Central Los Angeles, who've never been in Watts before. They want to join hands to talk about coming together and living together, and it's a wonderful sign that there are new possibilities. However, we all must recognize there's deep pain and hurt out there in that community. It is not simply about the king beating. It is about hopelessness. It is about poverty. It is about anger at the system that has denied human beings. And so the government has a responsibility in this. We all have a responsibility. We must direct some of America's resources toward her inner cities. This is but one city, but many of them, as you know, are ready to go.
I am told that you yourself were quite upset with President Bush's address to the nation last night. Why was that?
Well, listen, I think we must be realistic. We have been calling on Bush to help us spend that peace dividend to revitalize America's cities. Some investment in America. At a time when we are crying out for help, he comes to America and asks for help for Russia. People don't understand that. He has dismissed the hopeless youth of our nation, not paid any attention to them. All that he can do is use his leadership to talk tough, to cast the gauntlet. It is a time for him to show that he's not a mean-spirited man, that he does understand the pain that's confronting these young people. And instead of talking about simply another war and how he's got the troops and the strength to put his foot on their necks, he should be talking about how he can use that awesome power to ensure that they have a better quality of life, that they have a chance. I don't particularly like the way that message was framed. He can do better than that.
Congresswoman, thank you very much. I know you've had a very busy day. Thank you for joining us today. Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, the Democrats weigh their response and more of our coverage of the Los Angeles riots.
Now, here's something my kids and I will agree on. These are boring. Or as my kids would say, bogus, Mom. Well, come on, they're just a bunch of flakes. Hold on a minute. I like this. I didn't think I would. I just like it. It's kind of simple, and I don't know, it just tastes good.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes? Brutal. No, that's what my kids would say.
Taste them again for the first time.
Your dentist told you about plaque, but you didn't listen. You need the new Braun Oral-B Plaque Remover. It removes plaque just like your dentist wants you to.
That shelf should hold now, Doc.
The Braun Oral-B Plaque Remover.
Oh yeah, we're gonna twist! Tater twister, big surprise! Cuts and shapes, some curly fries!
Presto Tater Twister Electric Curly Cutter. Money-saving curly cuts from fresh vegetables. Spiral cuts too. Thrifty, easy fun.
Tater Twister!
From Presto.
Every bud, every blossom will help you from the ground up with everything you want to grow and everything you don't. Showing you the way like no one else. Ortho. It's our nature to help.
The Rodney King verdict and the Los Angeles riots could dramatically reshape this presidential campaign. There were some signs of that shift today as Democrats met in New Orleans this weekend. Richard Threlkeld reports.
This convention of Democratic moderates was supposed to be all about how to take back the White House in November. But 3 days and 3 nights of this in Los Angeles and some other cities altered the agenda, and the party's still struggling to find an appropriate response, whether to point a finger at the White House.
I am outraged by the Bush administration's cynical inaction on issues of civil rights and social justice and equal opportunity in America.
Or to condemn the rioting, no matter the perceived injustice that prompted it.
But let me say that no jury verdict is an excuse for mob violence. No jury verdict is an excuse for killing and brutality.
Today, Bill Clinton took another way. He complimented President Bush on last night's speech, but said the issue was more complicated than just maintaining law and order.
We pay when the crime rate in America spirals higher than any other country in the world. We pay for it when your taxes build jail cells, even as we're closing down schoolrooms.
And as for how Americans have become so divided between white and black, rich and poor, us and them, there's enough blame, he said, to go around.
Them is the dread word in American politics. The Republicans blame all the problems on them. Sometimes the Democrats say, well, we're going to go help them. People don't need help as them. They need to be part of us.
Clinton is considering going to Los Angeles, but has ruled it out for now so as not to appear to be capitalizing on the violence. Later on, Los Angeles may become an issue in Campaign 92. Right now, it's just a tragedy. Richard Threlkeld, CBS News, New Orleans.
For the most part, the rest of the country beyond south central Los Angeles was quiet today, but there were voices of anger being heard. David Colhane now with that story.
Police, public officials, and community leaders around the country worked hard through the night and into this day to head off violence and destruction, to channel the frustration and anger about the King verdict into peaceful protest. By and large, these efforts were successful. Here in New York, several hundred people rallied this afternoon to call for justice. Mayor Dinkins toured through Harlem, expressing support for the protests, but asking for peaceful methods.
I want them to remember that no matter how frustrated and distressed we all are over what has occurred and our general lot otherwise, that violence and destruction of property and injury to people and loss of life is not the answer.
In Pittsburgh, demonstrators sounded the theme heard again and again across the nation.
This will not stand. The Rodney King verdict will be turned around.
Forward together, backwards never.
There were rallies, marches, and protests in dozens of cities. This is Portland, Oregon. In New York and its suburbs, there were sporadic outbursts of vandalism and disorder, but the fears that this city might erupt did not materialize. Any national pattern of civil unrest has apparently been contained. The anger and frustration remain. David Colhane, CBS News, New York.
The Los Angeles riots are giving Americans some hard lessons in race relations, but there's still plenty of hard work ahead. And James Hattori is in Houston tonight with part of that story.
Across America, a generation of have-nots teeters on a fine line between tolerance and revolt. So far, Texas has been spared the violence and fires, but not the outrage.
The only way they're going to understand is, when we start killing people and shooting and blood there.
In Dallas this week, a rock-throwing incident nearly escalated into a showdown with police until the county's first and only African-American commissioner intervened.
We try to talk as family. Come on. Hey, shh.
With so many cities just a spark away from violence, community leaders who walk the streets of Houston say their best hope may be to turn outrage into outreach.
To divert all or as much of that negative energy, as much of it as we can, to a positive action.
There was a call to action at Houston's Shape Community Center today, not just to condemn injustice, but to make the system right with education, federal grants, and a stronger voice in government.
We've got to start developing our own politicians. I am sick and tired of trying to figure out who is the lesser of two evils.
For a group of civic volunteers today, the first step was small but symbolic.
We wanted to do something positive, and this is kind of working out my anger and my frustration.
But the anger here won't be quelled for long if the talk of change isn't followed with tangible action. James Hattori, CBS News, Houston.
Yeah, how far away do you think I can get in 72 hours?
I wouldn't trust my car past the city limits.
For the way you travel today more than ever, the Smart Money is on budget. Now at Budget, get a Lincoln or minivan with unlimited mileage for just $199 per week. The Smart Money is on budget.
New project?
Yes, I'm in the process of choosing a dentist.
Have you called 1-800-DENTIST?
You can't get this kind of information from just one phone call. I've surveyed every dentist in a 3.5-mile radius, compiled data on their schooling, years in practice, special training, and I've narrowed it down to exactly who you just got from 1-800-DENTIST.
Find out for yourself how easy it can be. Call 1-800-DENTIST today.
Your pets go many places during the course of a day, and you can't always protect them when they go into flea and tick-infested areas. We can. Used as directed, Heart's Blockade for dogs and cats repels and kills fleas and ticks, including ticks that carry Lyme disease. By creating a barrier, Heart's Blockade prevents these pests from living on your pets. Helping improve your pet's quality of life is your responsibility. Hearts helps you do that. Hearts, everything good for your pet.
The Rodney King verdict and the aftermath. What will it take to cool down the racial fires and restore peace? That story and more this Sunday morning.
Some of the other news today, the bloody siege of a high school near Sacramento ended late last night, but not before a former student out to avenge a failing history grade 3 years ago killed 4 of his hostages. John Blackstone now with that.
The ordeal still hasn't ended in Olivehurst. Today, friends and family wait for news of the wounded.
The masses were huddled together, and you hear names and people, and you hope to God no.
Tommy Bogus's son is among 11 wounded.
And then he got one right here that stopped right back here, and it's not all the way through, and so now they said they're waiting.
Those shot were rushed in yesterday after a heavily armed gunman seized the local high school. He killed 3 students and a teacher, and for more than 8 hours terrorized scores of others.
And we were all hiding from him, and that was probably the worst part, just hiding, not knowing if he was going to come and shoot us.
Students had just returned for afternoon classes when the siege began. Shots echoed in the hallways as the gunman roamed the school. The gunman in custody today was identified as Eric Houston, a 20-year-old unemployed dropout.
There was complete hysteria amongst the students and staff. They heard gunshot. They tried to get out of there.
In the early hours of the siege, most of those trapped in the school escaped, but for more than 60 others, the ordeal dragged on from afternoon into evening.
Well, I had to stand on the bottom floor and tell them where the cops were. We walked in the hostage room and, man, I thought I was going to die, man.
Finally, at 10:30, the last 31 hostages walked free, and the gunman surrendered. Sheriff's officers say he came to the school looking for his former history teacher, Robert Brenz.
He was upset with Robert Brent's former teacher in regards to a failing grade he'd received in 1989.
The tragedy comes just as students were preparing to celebrate the end of the school year. The senior prom, scheduled for tonight, has been canceled. John Blackstone, CBS News, Olivehurst, California.
Former Democratic Congressman Wilbur Mills died today of an apparent heart attack in Arkansas. The longtime chairman of the powerful Ways and Means Committee's career ended after a 1974 escapade with stripper Fannie Fox. He blamed it on alcoholism. Wilbur Mills was 82. The Serb-led Yugoslav army today seized the president of breakaway Bosnia, and though both sides reportedly agreed to a ceasefire tonight, what is being called full-scale war raged in Bosnia's capital of Sarajevo. The fighting also took the life of the first European Community peace monitor to die in Bosnia. It was the 118th running of the Kentucky Derby today in Louisville. The winner, long shot Lily T, with Casual Lie's second, Dance Floor third. Favorite Arazi finished way back. Track announcer Dave Johnson had the call.
Coming through the stretch and to the wire. Lily T on the outside has the lead by one. Casual Lies is second. Lily T wins the Derby by one with Pat Day aboard. Casual Lies second. Four back it was Dance Floor. Then came
an important message for patients taking Cardizem SR.
I need a refill on my Cardizem SR.
You may want to see your doctor before your next refill because there's a new Cardizem available, Cardizem CD.
What's the difference?
Cardizem CD should save you money, and it contains the same medication as Cardizem SR.
Can you give me Cardizem CD?
Only your doctor can change your prescription. Ask your doctor if new Cardizem CD is right for you.
Cardizem CD. Thanks. I'll ask my doctor.
Have you ever wondered how a professional painter can always get such great results? Because no matter what the job, he'll always start off in the exact same place. At the Sherwin-Williams store, there's only one paint that's good, and there's only one place you can get it. The pros know. Ask Sherwin-Williams.
Everyone has a dream, a vision deep inside.
With all the mutual funds out there, I needed an easy way to help me compare them.
We make it easier to follow your own lead.
With Schwab's free mutual funds performance guide, I can compare track records on over 500 funds.
Always there to give you just the help you need.
Help yourself at Schwab today.
As Los Angeles begins the difficult process of healing from the riots, a story of heroism is already beginning to emerge from one of the worst single incidents of violence. Tonight, we have the story of two people who showed remarkable courage in the face of great danger. Sunny Kennard reports.
Live on television in Los Angeles Wednesday, trucker Reginald Denny became a symbol of the savagery. Pulled from his rig, stoned, beaten, and shot, live on television while his roommate and his best friend watched.
When I turned the TV on is when I saw it, and you could see Reggie's pants and his hair, and we knew it was him.
And then when he sat there and got up, saw the long hair, and I saw a transit truck, that's when it hit me, because I saw the work boots, and the work boots are the work boots that I gave him.
At the same time, 2 blocks away from the beating, Titus Murphy and T. Barnett were watching it on TV, too. There were no police stopping it, so they jumped in their car.
He looked so bad, it was something that anybody would want to help.
Miraculously, Denny pulled himself up and into the truck, and with swollen eyes, he tried to drive away. 2 other Good Samaritans appeared and tried to help him drive, while Titus and T arrived.
We pull up next to the vehicle, ask, is he okay?
And what can we do to help?
T drove interference in her car, clearing traffic on the way to the hospital. Titus tried to comfort Denny.
You're hanging on the side of the truck. You're going down the street. What are you telling him?
You're going to be okay. You're going to be all right. He's desperate. He's not conscious. He's conscious, but he's not saying anything. He can't really hold his own body weight up.
The caravan arrived at the hospital. Denny's 2 friends arrived too.
Right when he walked through the emergency doors, he started choking on his own blood. So it was just a matter of seconds.
There were 3.5 hours of neurosurgery Wednesday night before Denny came back to intensive care.
We both grabbed his hand at the exact same time, and we both sat there and said, "Hey, we love you. You know, and just know that there's people here that care about you." And that's when the tear came out of his right eye, and we just, right then and there, we knew everything was hopeful.
Doctors here performed a tracheotomy on Reginald Denny overnight. They still don't know the full extent of his brain injuries, but say he's doing better than expected.
He's laying there.
And his rescuers are waiting and watching.
He has bandages around his head. He is hooked up to a machine.
He has a little girl that he's the closest dad to anybody I've ever seen, and I think this little girl is probably pulling him out of this because he knows, he can't leave her.
And they know he'll pull through.
Bottom line, Reggie's got the biggest heart in this world. People aren't aware of it because he's really quiet, but he'll be the first person to help anybody out.
Which may be why help came to him.
When he pulls through, I would love to meet him. And like I said, I have a daughter. He has a daughter same age, and maybe they can play together one day.
Out of the flames, out of the savagery, a lesson.
People don't learn to live together, then we're all doomed.
Cindy Kennard, CBS News, Los Angeles.
That's the news. Tomorrow on Face the Nation, we'll interview Los Angeles Police Chief Daryl Gates, Health and Human Services Secretary Louis Sullivan, and the prosecutor and a defense attorney in the Rodney King police beating case. We'll see you then. Connie Chung will have the news tomorrow night. I'm Bob Schieffer. Good night.
Teenagers are 3 times more likely to die driving at night than during the day.
Kid? Kid? With me, kid? Excuse me, with me, kid?
Talk to your teenager about serious driving issues before someone else has to do the talking.
Someone call the parents.
An allergy attack can start small. Itchy eyes, stuffy nose. But before you know it, your allergy is full grown. That's when you need Dimetap, the allergy medicine. If it was any stronger, you'd need a prescription. Maximum strength Dimetap Extend tabs work for 12 full hours. It's the way to relieve the congestion and sneezing of a full-grown allergy attack. Dimetap, relief for the full-grown allergy attack.
In art, taste is subjective, but in life, good taste is well defined. Fancy Feast gourmet cat food, exceptionally moist and delicious. Fancy Feast. Good taste is easy to recognize.
I need a laxative that can work dependably.
Doxadan can.
But can it be gentle?
Doxadan can. Doxadan works dependably overnight with a special ingredient for gentle relief.
Dependable, yes. Gentle, yes.
Doxadan can.
To CBS when a top field competes at the Centel Classic, continuing tomorrow on CBS Sports.
This is CBS.